Should have been. Mr. Green's in the house. Lipstick station.
Testing.
Okay.
Testing. There we go. Good evening.
Good
How's
evening.
everyone?
Good. Great.
Okay, today is Monday. What's today? The 3rd?
Yes.
October 3rd. All right, we have a couple of announcements real quick. Wow, we've got a full house tonight. I love that. But before I get started, I was remiss in sharing something with the group last Monday. I'm thinking I'm gonna make up for that real quick. First, I wanted to point something. Does anybody have any idea how long it takes to put these presentations together?
Oh, yeah. Anybody in the power?
Okay, and see, last week I meant to bring Mrs. Coleman out and give her the credit that was due for the work and the diligence that she put in on not just last week's assignment, but every week. I mean, it's a lot of work. And then, true story, you know the Jeopardy game we played last week? We were actually still working on that as Mike Whaley was speaking. Yeah. Yeah, it took a lot of work, a lot of effort, but seriously, it just simply couldn't be done without T.C. Coleman. I'm just going to tell everybody that, okay? And then the next thing that I wanted that was on my mind last week, but we ran out of time. Unfortunately, a lot of our veteran officials aren't here tonight. By the way, someone tell me, what does veteran mean? Someone give me a definition.
Old.
Who said that?
Old, yeah. Seasoned. Experience.
Thanks, Pat.
Later? Oh, leader. Yes. Leader. And I don't like the term veteran, by the way. I never use it. But an official who has experience should be able and capable of leading lesser experienced officials, correct?
Right.
Okay, so one thing that's been bothering me, it bothered me last Monday, but I ran out of time before I could address it. Why is it that our newer officials have more rule knowledge than our veteran officials? That is a question.
They have a good teacher.
They have a great teacher. That's correct. I mean, it bothered me because, you know, a lot of the things we were covering were not difficult. They weren't gotcha plays. They were really taken verbatim right out of the book. Basics, fundamental rules. And it's kind of scary when you think about it. I mean, I have my own possible reasons. I mean, can someone give me a reason why that would be the case?
Wayne, I think more experienced officials, as experienced officials, think we know the rules. Newer officials are trying to learn, so I think they look at the rules a lot more and a lot deeper than experienced.
Right.
Because we think we know it.
Okay.
all that.
Okay, you're right. That's a lot of truth. Now, is there a point in time, or let me rephrase that. Do you ever get to the point where there's no longer any reason to study? Okay, I'm just curious. I didn't say that. Somebody said that, but you're right. Right. Because, I mean, we come in, we have what I would loosely call tenure, and we have a certain air about us, and we forget that we have to continue to strive to excel at what we do. It doesn't matter how long you've been working. It doesn't matter how many games you've called. It doesn't matter what level you achieve. It doesn't matter how far you go in the postseason.
Oops.
It never ends. And the reason I say that is because the players don't stop getting better. The teams, coaches get smarter. The game evolves and changes constantly. Just like we went over the Euro step, right? We went over the Euro step move, right? That's new. So why do we, as veteran officials, assume it's okay to stop working? But the only thing I came up with is there's a lack of accountability. The only thing I came up with. So I'm actually challenging all of our more experienced officials to pick this up and change this reality. Let's not be satisfied with mediocre. Let's not sit down and accept mediocrity. Let's do our best to become the best officials we can, no matter how long we've been working. And then, let's turn around and teach somebody else the right way to referee. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. All right, anyway, by the way, we're having elections tonight. We're electing new officers going into the new term, and it's a 2-year term. So all paid TOA members will get a ballot, and you have opportunities to select the officers going in to the next season. Oh, that's right. Boy, November the 5th is going to be a huge day. Sarge, did you want to go over November the 5th?
Yeah, I can do it. As some of you know, we talked about this. November 5th is a Saturday, and it's going to be a lot of scrimmages going on. But the three we're going to focus on is Big Saturday, which is going to be at Douglas High School. It's going to be all day. Then it's going to be the McGinnis scrimmage, which is going to be at McGinnis High School, and it's going to be pretty much all day. And then we're going to have the small school varsity scrimmages at Performance Sports Club, and it's going to be pretty much all day. What we're looking to do is work as many of you as we can in the AM, take a break, and come back in the PM. Some of you be working 2-person at one facility and 3-person at the other facility. Between now and probably next week, I'll be sending each of you an email to find out your availability. It's one of these deals where either you're available or you're not. Don't need to know what you're doing or why you can't make it. It's kind of irrelevant. If you can't be there, you can't be there. But there'll be 3 opportunities to work. It'll be in the morning from 8 to 11. It'll be the afternoon from about noon to about 4. And it'll be evening about 4 to about 7. So anytime during that day, if you can free yourself up to work some ball games, it'll be very beneficial. Because all the commissioners that run our 2 biggest conferences will be in attendance. And their designated representatives will be in attendance. Also, your representatives from TOA and the Metro will be out to help assist you in the things that you need to do. So if there's any questions on that, any questions at all, please let me know. We're going to start trying to get this taken care of. And what we'll have you do, you'll come out for whatever hours you got, And I know some of you got things to do, but if you say you can come out at a.m. from 8 to 11, I need you there from 8 to 11. Don't say I got to leave at 10 o'clock, because it just makes it that much difficult to schedule. If you're not coming till 4 o'clock, then be there at 4 o'clock. All this information I'll get out to you, but we're really going to need your help with that. Okay? One other thing I want to ask that everybody that's registered in secondary schools activity receive their packages, their packets. Okay, that's good. All right, thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Sarge. Was there 3 or 4 books in your packets?
3.
3? Okay. Okay, I was curious. All right.
I got an announcement.
Uh-oh.
Hey, I'm glad that you guys like those presentations, because I enjoy reading those. That's a good effort. Not only I'm working, we're expecting a lot, but Wayne does a lot for every time for this Monday meeting, so.
Thank you. Okay, can someone give me a definition of travel etiquette? Oh, I'm sorry. How are you supposed to act when you travel? I'm sorry. All right, there are certain responsibilities that we have as officials on all levels when we go into it. It actually starts before the game, contacting our partners, our crews, what we do before the game, going to the game, pre-game, during the game, and after. Okay, one of the most important things that's vitally important is on Sunday nights. What is the one thing we should definitely do Sunday night? Oh. Contact your partners. Who's responsible for contacting your partners? Everybody. Say that again. Everybody. If you do not hear from the R on your crew, you call them. You heard me say call, not email. You call them, okay? It's important and vital that we contact one another so that we know what we're doing and we're all going to the same place at the same time. It's important not just to us, but to these schools, these coaches, and these kids that were there. And also it does kind of help that the commissioners know if there's someone who can't make a ball game, if there's any type of conflict, if there's a problem, a sickness, something that they may need to take care of that night to kind of prevent any disconnects. Okay. I understand we do very little traveling together in high school unless you go into El Reno. Does everybody travel together and go to El Reno? Everybody drive themselves? One person? I mean, it's a little bit of a drive. I mean, you can come pick me up. I'll ride with you. Saving gas. Speaking of that, if you ride with someone, what should you do? Offer gas money. Thank you. I was about to change it. He changed it for me. Give them gas money. Okay? Because they are driving their vehicle, it is their fuel, and it's their wear and tear on their vehicle. Okay? So that's just travel etiquette. If you stop to eat, offer to buy them something to eat because they are driving. Okay? Travel etiquette. Well, give me another important factor to consider when contacting our partners. What are we going to discuss? What are we going to say? What time we're meeting at the site? Somebody else besides Wendell. Have they contacted the schools? Good. Do you know what school we going to? Hey, everybody laugh. I'm telling you, every year it happens. Someone shows up at the wrong school. It happens. Sometimes schools have games that are not on site. It's important to know that. One more thing, was there anything anything else that we discussed in that conversation?
Are we riding together? Where are we gonna meet?
Are we riding together? Where we're gonna meet? What time we're gonna leave? What time we're gonna arrive? Are you giving yourself enough time to get off work to get to the game? Do we have each other's cell phone numbers? Okay, just in case there's a delay getting to the game site, so that we can call one another. It's probably better to call each other if we're delayed, to have a partner looking for you and they call the commissioner because they'll have your number. Just a thought. All right, so we get to the game site, we get there all there on time. Yes. Oh, Mr. Walker.
Do you know where the school is?
That's what they just said.
That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. You're on the right track, brother.
Next time, be on.
There you go. You know where the school is. But then when we contact the schools, what do we tell them? Okay. The answers were who the crew is, what time we plan to arrive, and who do we contact when we do arrive. Because more than likely that would be our game administrator that we might need during the night, possibly. All right, so we're there, we worked the ball game with the great ball game. Is there anything that we should do before we leave the site, before we all leave? After the ball game, worked the great ball game. Hopefully no issues, no problems. We didn't ride together. We drove separately. We all met at Northeast. It's right in the middle of the city. Thank you. Please make sure that we all walk out together. Okay?
And make sure the ladies get to their cars.
Ooh.
Get their cars started and drive off.
You want me to take you home too?
You can.
You know what? Thank you, Trina. Please, gentlemen. Yes, sir. I wish. That would be sweet. Pull up, have your name on it, the whole nine? Yeah. Okay, here's welcome, Jack. I'm glad to see you, bro.
Colin, you're not gonna park when it says official. Cause they
No.
but just like you walking out with your striped shirt on, it says official.
Yeah, that might be a good
Exactly right,
idea.
Sam.
But do try to park in as public a spot as possible. This is just reality.
Under
Make
the
sure it's
lights.
lighted.
Say,
Lit.
Under the lights.
Make sure it's lit. Make sure it's as close to the front door as possible, visible. Don't ever, 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 ever park behind a school where no one can see you. Okay? If there's no parking, double park, come tell the administrator, tell them that you're not parking on the backside of school, okay? And I agree with Trina 110%. Make sure, gentlemen, please, make sure that the women get to their cars, okay? Walk them to their cars. Don't walk to the door and wave at them. All right? See ya, girl, good job. Walk them to their cars. Make sure they get in the cars. Make sure the car starts, especially in January and February. Okay? But the most important thing is let's leave together, all right? And that is travel etiquette. Any other suggestions or anything we should do? Either, yes. Coach Crandall. Love questions.
Is it offensive to you, Wayne, if I choose not to ride with you and we're going road trip? I'm saying outside the metro, you offered to ride. I have said to you, I'm going to be on my phone, I've got work, I may bring my wife, whatever the reason. Is that offensive to you if I choose to drive separate?
That's an easy question, no. Because it is, I will expound on that. First of all, it's very, you gotta work to offend me. Okay, you gotta work at it. You gotta go out of your way. Some people, for whatever reason, may take it personally if you choose not to ride with them. Two things. Just give them a reason why. Okay? And if for some reason other than, you know what, no, don't do that. Kenny Shaw, don't do that. Give them a reason why, let them know why. This is the reason why I'm choosing to drive to the game site, okay? And it's going to happen, and if someone does take it personally, do your best to bring them back, but whatever it takes, don't let it affect your ball game. Because I'm going to tell you something, you don't have to like somebody before the game or after the game, but you must communicate during the game. If you don't, you're doing, once again, the schools, the coaches, and the kids a disservice. If it's that bad, turn the game back. Okay? And I would really hope that, no, I'm not going to say that because it's happened. We know it happens. That's just reality. If it's that bad, turn the game back. Okay? And if someone does get offended, and we can tell, we know with how someone normally will communicate with us, but now all of a sudden they give us the cold shoulder. It's okay. Be the bigger person and work the ball game. And try to pull them back. Good question. Any other questions? Comments? Has anyone ever been offended going to a ball game? I didn't think about it, raise their hand. All right. Oh, yeah, we didn't bring a bag tonight. Sorry. Okay. You know, we've discussed a lot of things. We've looked at every element when it comes to officiating, both on and off the floor. But the bottom line is you have to do everything you can to improve your play call. Someone tell me what play calling is. Someone other than Wendell. Judgment. What was that? Consistency. Mechanics. Patience. All of those are factors in play calling. Communication. Thank you, David. Eye contact. There you go. All of those are factors in play calling. The bottom line is you want to work to have the highest accuracy in your interpretation of the plays that occur on the floor as possible. Positioning is a very important factor in play calling. All of those things we mentioned are very important. But before we have to know what it is that we're looking at, what we're doing, before we can even try to actually call plays. Okay, now, everyone knows what a block is, right? Or do you know it when you see it? Good. Yes, there you go. Blocking is illegal, by the way. It's illegal personal contact which impedes the progress of an opponent with or without the ball. Now, how many people have seen a block call on a player who didn't have the ball? I know why. No, you guys gonna stop answering questions. Okay, you can't have a block call with someone who does not have the ball. We can't impede them. We cannot restrict their freedom of movement. Charging is illegal personal contact caused by pushing or moving into an opponent's torso. We're gonna get into more of that here in just a minute. A player who is moving with the ball is required to stop or change directions to avoid contact if a defensive player has obtained a legal guarding position in his or her pad. We're going to get into that too in a minute. If a guard has obtained a legal guarding position, the player with the ball must get his or her head and shoulders past the torso of the defensive player. If contact occurs on the torso of the defensive player, the dribbler is responsible for the contact. Can everybody visualize that? Everybody visualize that? You have the ball. There's a defender who's legally guarding you. You must get your head and your torso past them before the contact occurs. You can't go through them to get past them. You're responsible for that contact. Another part of, I'm gonna stop right for a second. We have to have the ability to determine what is illegal contact and what is incidental contact. Incidental contact is contact with an opponent which is permitted and which does not constitute a foul. The mere fact that contact occurs does not constitute a foul. When 10 players are moving rapidly in a limited area, some contact is certain to occur. Now let's talk about another reality real quick. This is a yes/no question. Is there a different amount of contact depending upon the level that you're calling? I should say contact allowed. Is it a different amount of contact allowed depending upon which conference you're working in?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what do we as officials must be able to do? Adjust?
Can I expound on that just?
Oh, please.
All right, I got a third grade daughter. I hope some of y'all work junior gym to get to see her play. I'm proud of her, but it only takes a minimal amount of contact, and she's probably going to trip and fall. That same minimal amount of contact is not going to be a foul at higher levels. I just think when we officiate, we got to referee the consequences of contact. What we think is, oh, that's incidental. If it caused someone to fall, it gained an advantage for who? The defense. Therefore, it probably wasn't incidental. I'm just going to challenge you guys to think about that as you referee different levels.
That's true. That's very true. We can determine the amount of contact that we will allow depending on the abilities of the players. Different levels, the players are stronger and faster. We're not talking about, it doesn't matter whether they're boys or girls, they're stronger and faster. Different conferences play different styles of basketball. If you aspire to work in multiple conferences, you have to have the ability to adjust your decision making based on where you are and what you expect. That being said, we don't allow illegal contact to occur simply because one player is bigger than the other. One player is supposed to be a superstar, so we feel like he can handle it, she can handle it, she's signed at OSU, she can handle it. No, because illegal contact, put a whistle on it. The difference is the level of incidental contact. We have to have the ability to judge, okay? Here's another very important factor, verticality. Verticality applies to a legal position. Following are the basic components of the principle of verticality. Legal guarding position must be obtained initially, we're going to get back to that again, and movement thereafter must be legal. Let me go back. So in essence, if you never establish a legal guarding position, it doesn't matter how vertical you are. Okay, you must be legal first. From this position, the defender may rise or jump vertically and occupy the space within his or her vertical plane. The hands and arms of the defender may be raised within his or her vertical plane while on the floor or in the air. By that string hanging. The defender should not be penalized for leaving the floor vertically or having his or her hands and arms extended within his or her vertical plane. I'm going to stop right there for a second. So, if we have a defender who initially is legal, good guarding position, we're going to cover that. And there's a player coming at them, and they jump up, and the player with the ball makes contact with that defender. We have to understand that that defender has the right to all that space in the vertical plane. They have a right to that space. We can't penalize the defender because the offensive player created the contact. Does anyone not understand that? Yes, sir.
It's not that I don't understand it, but I have a question because I've seen it so often. Is the offensive player will pump fake, and the player will go straight up. The offensive player will jump into the defense. Now, too often, I mean, to me, that should be an offensive foul. But too often, I've seen it called a defensive foul.
Greg, what do you call?
Well, you know, I would call it an offensive foul.
Okay.
Because the defensive player can go straight up, the offense can lead it too.
Right.
So often I see it called differently. Even on college and NBA, I see it called against the defense.
Okay. I'll leave that part alone. Probably, and I'm just guessing here, is that that's one reason why we're going under the definitions, so we have an understanding of what exactly a player can do. Because unfortunately, as a community, sometimes we do call things because of how they look. And not understanding that that player, that defensive player, has a right to that space. Now, agree it happens. I agree with that. In that situation, for those of you who are wondering, the defender has a right to that space. We could either have a no call, which is perfectly acceptable, or if the contact by the offensive player is illegal, we have a player control foul. Okay? But that's why, Greg, we're here tonight, we're going to change all that. This group right here, everybody's going to change that. All right? The offensive player, whether on the floor or airborne, may not clear out or cause contact within the defender's vertical plane, which is a foul, which is similar. That's another part of what Greg was talking about. Does anyone not understand that? Great. The defender may not belly up. I'm not going to do that. Or use the lower part of the body or arms to cause contact outside his or her vertical plane, which is a foul. Now, guarding is the act of legally placing the body in the path of an offensive opponent. There is no minimum distance required between the guard and opponent, but the maximum is 6 feet when closely guarded. Someone give me a reference of how far 6 feet is. A reference on the floor. From the free throw line to the top of the arc. Everybody concur? Does someone have a different reference?
Radius, the circle. Be the circle.
There you go.
6 feet. Free throw to the top.
There, thank you. Radius of the circle. Think about that. The radius of the circle is 6 feet. Okay? Making sure we understand that so that once again, we can give the defensive team all the credit that they are due and not wait for someone to reach up and reach inside someone's shirt before we start our count. Okay? 6 feet. Every player is entitled to a spot on the playing court provided such a player gets there first without illegally contacting an opponent. A player who extends an arm, shoulder, hip, or leg into the path of an opponent is not considered to have a legal position if contact occurs. Because to obtain an initial leading guarding position, the guard must have both feet touching the playing court. Front of the guard's torso must be facing the opponent. 2 feet torso. 2 feet torso. That's the initial legal guarding position. After that, what can we do?
Side to side.
Move which way? Anyway? I can move towards you. Side to side. Lateral, side to side, or obliquely. We can give ground. It's okay, Kenny. I'm with you, brother. It's the same thing, yeah. Side to side or obliquely, we can give ground. But the key is that we must establish legal guarding position first before two things. Before what? Player leaves the ground. before the play is airborne, and before contact occurs. Okay? I may have gotten ahead of myself a little bit. After the initial leading guarding position is obtained, the guard may have one or both feet, oh, that's important, one or both feet on the playing court or be airborne provided he or she has an inbound status. You must be inbound. If you have 1 foot inbound and 1 foot on the sideline, are you legal? You know, back when we were kids, a long time ago, coach used to tell you, put your foot right on that baseline. Boom. That's another defender. Put your foot on the baseline. Yeah, that's a little old school. Now, you're not legal, so it's a foul. The guard is not required to continue facing the opponent. Once you are initially legal, I think we have it in here. After the initial legal guarding position is obtained, the guard may move laterally or obliquely to maintain position, provided it is not toward the opponent when contact occurs. The guard may raise his hands, the guard may raise hands or jump within his or her own vertical plane. The guard may turn or duck to absorb the shock of imminent contact. So do we have to remain facing the offensive player? So we can gain initial guarding position, which is legal, move laterally, contact is coming, and turn. Correct? I'm just asking. That's what it says. And going back to Mr. Walker's point, how many times have we seen a defensive player penalized because they didn't take the contact? They got to take it, coach. They can protect themselves, people. Guarding an opponent with the ball or a stationary opponent without the ball, no time or distance is required to obtain an initial legal position. If the opponent with the ball is airborne, the guard must have obtained the legal position before the opponent left the floor. And we have a clip coming up that will illustrate that perfectly. You have to be there before the offensive player alights. Once they leave the floor and you're established, you are not legal. So you are responsible for that contact. So what do we have to train ourselves to do as officials? Referee the defense, but there's more to that. Be aware of the offensive player. We referee the defense, so we know where they came from and how they got there, but we are aware of the offensive player. We know when they left the floor. That's the only way we can determine if that contact is either responsible for the offensive player or defensive player. Someone didn't ask the question I was expecting. How do we do that? Position's one of them. Do we have to be focused on something to see it? Can we see something that's in our vision without focusing on it? That's a question. So we can actually have the defender be aware of the offensive player. And when that offensive player alights, we know when they left the floor without having to turn to look at them. We have to develop that ability as officials to referee everything that's in our vision, not what we're focused on. Okay? That's for another conversation, by the way. Guarding a moving opponent without the ball, time and distance are factors required to obtain initial legal position. The guard must give the opponent time and or distance to avoid contact. How much time, how much distance? 1 to 2 steps. Is there a physical measure? No, there isn't. Just the normal 1 to 2 strides. Okay. give that player 1 or 2 of their strides to avoid the contact. If the opponent is airborne, the guard must have obtained legal position before the opponent left the floor, once again. Okay, proper court coverage is... A good system of mechanics is required to ensure the officials will be at the proper place, this is what we talked about earlier, positioning, on the court at all times. The movements must be such that the official is constantly in position to observe any action which falls under his or her jurisdiction. An official not in the proper position on the court has committed the unpardonable sin of officiating, which is being out of position. The official must be proficient in good officiating mechanics. Question.
Okay. I'm asking this with well, I've never called a game, but we've been talking in class about the fact that all of us will be, at least for the unseen future, be calling it a two-man crew. How is it possible? We've been talking about compromise and the fact that you're not always going to call it your primary coach area. How is it possible to see all of this in a two-man crew without, I mean, you're going to miss some things, of course, but is there a level of, in a triage situation, is there a level of things you just let go because?
Yeah, there's a level you let the patient die. Yeah.
Die, for instance, but I'm just saying, there's something possible there, you're like, oh, but something's happening over here.
Two-person officiating, two-person mechanics, you work a lot harder. You have to work very hard to attain the best position possible. You can't always get the correct position, but you work hard to get the best position possible. And yes, sometimes you gotta guess. Gut instinct, if you see a play and you know for a fact there's something happened, put a whistle on it, look at your partner, hope they put a whistle on it. You work a lot harder than two-person mechanics, you do. Three-person, you have a higher level of accountability. We should miss a lot less if we're in proper position with the proper primary area coverage, proper positioning adjusting, and the correct focus. Okay, we should miss a lot less. Mr. Walker.
I think what helps in the two-man crew also is to look at your more competitive matchups also. Somebody should have a ball at all times, but if you're off the ball, look for the most competitive matchup. The guys that are fighting each other the most off the ball, and I think that's what we do also.
We should have a list of the fighting each other. But that's an excellent point. Someone tell me, what is a competitive matchup? Fans, stand up. What is a competitive matchup?
Two players engaged.
Two players actually actively engaged. Right. If we're standing next to each other, chit-chatting, yeah, I'm aware of it, but it's not competitive. Okay. But if they are actively engaged guarding and he's fouling me, okay, we're gonna pay more attention to it. It's gonna draw our attention. There you go. That's an excellent point, Greg. We pick up the closest competitive matchup. If you don't have competitive matchup in your primary, what should you do? Secondary area. Secondary area, you should expand your vision and be aware of what's happening in your secondary. Reggie, what's up, man?
What's going on, Ryan?
Good to see you, bro. Like this shirt.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
In the secondary, I've heard this over the years, that people get upset about offending people. And I understand when you have a primary here and someone's secondary, it's called secondary for a reason, it's not yours.
That's correct. Excellent point.
Do you not worry? I mean, at the end of the day, me personally, I'd be worried about calling the game like not so much about making friends and like you not. But
And I know that about you, yes.
But you also have to work with these people. You want to keep some kind of camaraderie amongst each other. So how do you?
I have a variety of answers for that. That's an excellent point. Goes back to what Brother Crandall asked me earlier. This is just me personally. If you come and pick up a call in my primary, I'm not going to be offended. If it's illegal contact, come get it. I may have missed it. I could be out of position. I could be in the midst of doing the unpardonable sin of being late coming down the floor. Okay? As a crew, we work as one. And what are our priorities?
Get it right.
There are three. What are they? Boy, somebody better know this.
The game, the plans, and ourselves.
There you go. Close.
Write that down for that.
Our priority as officials is the game, our partners, then ourselves. The game takes precedent over everything. You just be mad at me. I'm just gonna tell you. Because I'm gonna come get it. All right? Same thing. It could be right in front of me, but I just happen to be on the wrong side of the defender and don't have a clean look at it. Especially in three-person, which is why we have partners. My partner's gonna get it, I'm gonna say thank you for coming to get that. Okay, I'm trying not to go off on a tangent, but we have a tendency to get caught up into what's mine and what's yours, piece of the pies, and yes. The bottom line is let's get the play right. Okay? Let's get the play right for the kids, for the schools. If someone gets offended, we can take care of that later. In the locker room, we'll talk about it. I'll apologize. I'm sorry. But the bottom line is, we're not at the end of the ball game. The player's going to the bucket, gets hit in the head, and we have no whistle. We're under 30 seconds left. A team has the ball, and they have contact, displaces them, they lose possession consequence. They lose possession, there's no call, because it's not mine, not my primary. No, we're guardians of the game, protect the game.
But you know,
Yes, Sam.
you know, a lot of officials now we're going to be in the right position instead of referees. Especially as a three-person.
Especially in three-person, which if you put the work in before the game, before you get in that position and are prepared, then you don't have to focus on your position. Your position is like second nature. It's like breathing. Then you can just referee. You can pick up your partner, and I'm going off on a huge tangent. You should have the ability to pick up your partners in your vision without focusing on them. If they're rotating, I don't have to look at you to know you're rotating. I can pick you up. I can keep refereeing. Okay? So yes, let's have the abilities to actually referee call a ball game. And once again, reality, it's going to happen. Someone's going to get offended if you call something their primary. It's going to happen. Be the bigger person, communicate, let's discuss how it happened, let's get off the fact that it actually did happen, okay? And then move on.